Welcome to Greige Against the Machine, the podcast where we celebrate the extraordinary talent and accomplishments of lesser-known and even unknown artists and creatives. I'm Lisa Katara alongside Justin Harvey, and each week we'll explore the minds and stories of the journeymen and women behind your favorite films, shows, ads, music, and more. Those who craft magic without the red carpet spotlight or public eye, because everyone has a unique story to tell, and sometimes the most inspiring voices are the ones you haven't heard yet.
Welcome, Greige Against the Machine.
It is Lisa. 2025. Hi, we are barely a week into this brand new magical, wonderful world, and there's already fuckery. There's already so much
are you talking
on.
about fires or other?
Yeah. Well,
horrible.
Yes, like all of the fires. My God, they've never been this bad.
Yeah, to all of our Los Angeles people, please stay safe. We're thinking of you, and if you guys need anything, like if you need a place to crash in Cleveland, I got a spare room over there.
Right.
Come on by. We'll have s'mores and be freezing instead because it's like 4 degrees here. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting, fun year.
Yeah, fun. I hope so. I hope it's fun. Yeah.
In this room, in this gray and beige room, in the Greige, it's going to be fun.
Yes, in this area, it's going to be absolute magic. We just gotta keep our heads on straight, stay positive, and be surrounded by extraordinary tribe. And guess what we have tonight?
Oh, we got a fun one tonight, don't we? For those of you guys who don't know, this is the unscripted journeys of the real Hollywood, the real people out there that are getting it done, that are making the content that you guys love. And I've finally gotten used to the word content, by the way.
Hey.
I don't say entertainment anymore. I actually say content now. And today's guest is no exception. We've been trying to bring you guys different things and people who have different takes on the whole world. And you are not going to be disappointed at all with today's friend. Should we say friend?
Friend, talent, extraordinary gentleman.
Talent, creator, because we're talking about content creation. So he is definitely a creator. Let us all, look at this list of things. So Joe's just an amazing guy. We're going to bring him in right now. This is our friend and soon to be your friend, Joe Ochman. Come on, welcome aboard.
Hi, everybody. That is by far the best introduction I've ever had in my life.
Oh my gosh!
You don't get introduced much, do you, Joe?
No,
it could be that.
Heroes of show business. We never get introduced.
It's true, though. Unsung heroes of show business. Well, a lot of what you do too is in a booth. You're on camera, but you're also in a booth. So, this is the face of all your favorite stuff, guys. This is it. More than 40-year veteran performer on and off camera. You have more than 270 credits. Is that right? 200.
I looked the other day and it was 303.
Oh my gosh!
Surprised me. Yeah, this whole business for me has been about being surprised. I'm stunned that I'm here. I'm stunned that I get to do what I do. I feel like I blundered into the whole thing sometimes, and I'm surprised.
Well, how did that even come to be then? If you had no intention of coming to Hollywood and establishing yourself and staking your claim, how did you even get to us?
I don't know. I went to school to major in psychology, which
apropos.
I wanted to be apropos because and that's kind of why I ended up where I was, because the college I went to Middlebury in Vermont, and at the time their psychology department was all experimental. It was all probing rats' brains with electrodes, and I used to cry during Born Free, so that didn't do me any good. Bounced around I was in the sociology, anthropology department for a while, and then ended up in theater because I learned all the same things in psychology and didn't have to do a thesis. It was basically laziness. I became an actor.
You hear that? Lazy. Success, wild success, and a 40-year career is laziness. So you heard Joe Ochman.
Sloth is what it is. And I got out of college. What I did discover in college was I discovered radio. I was a DJ. I ran the radio station there, and I loved that. Cool. I absolutely loved it. And this was back, I'm ancient, so this was back in the time of freeform radio, and it was great. And just as I got out of college, they decided they were going to do the recorded radio station things where they recorded it all in Texas. And the DJ would basically be a robot-y kind of guy going, and that was Jim Croce with I Love You in the I Love You in the Song, and these Rolling Stones with Heartbreaker, do, 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 do. And I remember driving from my house with an air check to this freeform, fabulous radio station in Connecticut where I'm from. I was driving there. The noon hour came. It was news. After the news hour, it became an automated country station. And I said, "Oh, this isn't going to work." I drove home and did not look back. Tried to learned how to run a studio. Learned a 16-track recording.
Wow.
But didn't want to spend 20 hours in a dark room with a bunch of cokeheads. And so I bounced around.
What's not to love,
Joe? You would not believe how similar our stories are in certain regards. I was in radio in high school. I was my high school's music director at the radio station. I got my FCC license and everything. I did the monster truck commercials for the local radio station here. The Sunday, did all that crap. And then got into recording engineering, and that's what my actual degree is in recording engineering. Don't ask me how I ended up being a producer and director, because I'm qualified to do radio, really, is what it is. But somehow Hollywood calls us.
I have my FCC license, but I'm not qualified to do that anymore because the technology just went beyond me.
Oh, yeah.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
Like, I was a recording engineer in the big studios in LA when I first got there in 2000. You know how much stuff has changed in 23 years?
Yeah, we do.
Voice actors. Oh, sorry, Lisa.
I mean, we're all the same, right about the same age. So yeah.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying. It's like, I used to know the buttons to push, but you learn and adapt. But when you're not honing that skill, when you're not honing that knife every day, it's just not as sharp as it used to be.
And as a voice actor, of course, I have to learn technical stuff anyway. And I still call myself a tech idiot, but I can do some stuff. And I guess
you have to record auditions, obviously, and whatnot. But I mean, do you ever find yourself doing professional level stuff at home, or do you actually always get to go to a studio?
Well, during the pandemic, that was funny. When the pandemic arrived, I realized I live in a tiny apartment on a very crowded, noisy street. And I said, I'm doomed. Yeah. There's no way I'm going to be able to work out of here. Well, everybody else had their home studios and their booths and all their fancy stuff. And then I started looking around my apartment, and I went, big, thick blanket. I can hang it from there to there. I can sit in my bed. I can put the stuff. I could put pillows and basically I worked straight for 3-4 years. You worked in a fort. I worked in a bed pillow fort for years. And actually had Disney at one point tell me that my booth was better than some of the Whisper Rooms.
I was going to say, there goes our Whisper Room sponsorship. That's
Let me just call them and tell them never mind. Thanks, Joe.
but I disagreed with them and said, no, Whisper Rooms are the best, except for Studio Bricks.
Right. That's amazing, though. Like, I had a recording studio in the Burbank area, and a lot of guys like yourself would come to me because I had a smaller one-room Pro Tools studio back in the mid 2000s, and I used to do, it was so much fun working with voice talent, like, and doing stuff I did a couple of animated kids shows and stuff where I was recording the voice talent. And the weirdest one I ever did, you'll love this, Joe. Don't ever sign up for one of these, is a hypnosis box set. So the guy had to teach me how to not be hypnotized while we were recording the hypnosis stuff. Like, this is something that it was the most mind-blowing thing ever. I took the gig. I'm like, yeah, come on by the studio. And he was like, you have to understand, this is going to actually be very difficult for you to do, because you need to be monitoring the quality of what I'm saying and editing this, that, and the other thing. But also, it's probably going to hypnotize you. And I'm like,
once in a while walks around clucking like a chicken.
We'll all know why. I mean, I've been sending him checks randomly for the last 20 years. So I don't know what that's about.
Then it was effective.
So how did you go from radio into, paid voice acting? Like, what was the transition like?
Well, voice acting was a long ride because it was not on my radar. I was doing theater. I was always doing theater. After school I did plays and
yes. One of us.
One of us.
always. And you know, I did some musical theater. I did some regular theater. I did a lot of good stuff. And I did one play. Actually, it was Bus Stop. I did a production of Bus Stop, and the review of it said something to the effect of that I was worth the price of admission, which like went, what? I just like.
Wait, how much was admission?
Like 50 cents.
This guy.
Yeah. But thank you, Lisa, for keeping me humble. I was trying
to boost you up.
But no, and I just sort of had this moment where I said, well, you know what? Let's try this and see if it works. I mean, I can't imagine it will, but what the heck? And I went to, and I lived 50 miles out of New York, so I took the train from Connecticut all the time. And I was I got myself a job at UPS on a loading dock from 3 to 9 in the morning, so I would have my days and evenings free. I never slept. I slept 2 hours a night for 12 years. I don't know how the hell I managed that. But I went down and took a commercial acting class because I figured this face is going to, commercials are where I was going to score. And it started to work. And in my spare time, I did as much theater as I could. I belonged to this group in Connecticut, made up of a lot of the actors, the stars who lived in that area. Keir DeLay from 2001 was in it, and Joanne Woodward was in it for a little while. It's kind of very tunny,
Connecticut's got a scene, man.
Yeah, they had quite a scene, and there I learned I could sing in front of people, and they liked it. And they'd like it, and I was in a radio rep group for a little while, doing radio dramas and commercials. But I still was not wasn't what I was thinking. I did commercials for about 10 years. Tried to get onto Broadway, which was always the goal. Never, had a couple of bites, had a couple of nibbles, and then said, well, why don't I go out to California for a while just to scout it out? I didn't want to go there. I wasn't crazy about it, but if I could get in a series in the off season, I could do Broadway. And well, that didn't work, but I ended up here, and then worked in commercials almost immediately. And did a lot of workshops meeting casting directors, which worked for me because I'm just so delightful.
Delightful. Who would not love you? Come on.
Justin doesn't like me because he's worried about me, infringing.
He's jealous because like you are a second bestie tonight, so like he's feeling a little threatened.
I'm feeling threatened by the resume because I've done my fair share of what I like to call piss poor voiceover and stuff. Like I did some of my own voiceover stuff when I was a producer at NFL. But like,
well, wait, whoa! A producer at NFL, that kind of counts.
No, it was great. I'm not saying, but at the same time, I got to do it like twice, and it's like this Sunday in the gridiron battle of Los Angeles, the Rams face the Chargers.
I can listen to you like do that voice for ages because even though I can do it a little bit, it sounds genuine coming out of your face.
But I wanted to do characters, Joe. Like I used to read my kids the Thomas the Tank Engine, the train books, and I would do a different British accent for like every single train for my kid.
Stop right there, Joe. Do we need to hear his British accent?
No, we don't. We need to hear Joe's.
No,
you said a couple different. I think we should. I think we
should say a couple of different.
Yeah,
it's Thomas the Train Engine, and I'm coming to find my friend Henry. That's how Thomas always talked. He was terrible. It was like something out of an old Charles Dickens thing.
Okay, that's one.
No, that's it. We're just gonna.
You said there were two. No, you said there were two.
No, that's
you promised us two.
You want me to do voices in front of Joe, who's got
yes, I do. Yes,
because you got that
very much
voice that I don't quite have. So it's good.
See, that's part of the trick.
I promise we'll force Lisa to do a voiceover after that.
Oh shit! Yeah, challenge accepted. I've been a 15-year-old boy. Go for it. Mm-hmm.
There you go. All right, first, well, Justin has to do a second British accent first.
Oh, well, it was like
I'm taking over the show now.
It was like the Jamaican one from the other side of town there.
Cotton?
And he was like, "Wagwan, bro."
In Jamaica.
He said, "Wagwan, bro." It's terrible.
I wonder how many yardies we can offend right now.
All of them. Are you kidding me? I only do things that make everyone upset. Okay, so
I have nothing.
Joe, 15-year-old boy, you said so.
Well, I was fine when it was the context of a show, but now I have nothing to do, so I can't do it.
I applaud you both. I can go home.
So what is the secret, Joe? What is the secret to coming up with the perfect voice for a part? Like, you see this on paper, you're getting a piece of black and white, a piece of paper that has words on it, and you have to manifest this character from deep in your soul with a voice. Like, how do you translate one to the next thing?
You know, I've done a lot of anime in my life, and I think this applies here too. I think this applies to your question as well as just to anime. I always said to myself, there are two types of voice actors. There's technicians and there's divers. And the technicians, they'll work it out to a T, and they'll say, like, I need a little this kind of little thing, I need a little tongue over the side, I need a little, whatever the heck it needs, and the timing has to be just right. I have one friend who worked for 3 days on a role that I'll do in 5 minutes, but what he comes up with is great, because I'm a diver and he's a technician, you know, and I'm a diver. What I'd like to do, like when I coach people, I always say, just read it out loud first and see what happens to you.
Yeah.
Because you're immediately grabbing muscle memory in your butt by saying the words, and you're discovering things as you go along. So you're kind of listening and reacting as you go, and then sometimes, very often, the voice finds itself. I mean, and then I'll say, then go read the description and see what you get down to it. Don't read it until you've read it out loud.
I would work with you. You would know how to get that out of me. Like, that makes sense to me. That's how I've always kind of approached things too.
Yeah. Well, you're a stunt woman. You're all about diving in.
On the acting side, like generally when I get a role, I assume I've been invited because they want me to do my.
But everything we do as an actor is amplified by what else we do.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, as a matter of fact, if everybody's so tunnel visioned about acting that they've got nothing else in their lives, they're not as good an actor. It's always going to be a little bit. Skewed towards not having life experience in it, or not having.
Not experiencing life. What the hell are you bringing to a role? What are you doing?
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Go talk to somebody, Jay.
But yeah, so I'll look at something. I'll say it out loud. I'll see what comes out of my face. Then I'll look at the specs. If there's a picture, of course, I might see you've got an underbite, so of course I'll add that.
Oh yeah.
That kind of stuff. But
I have to ask then. Like, is there? I don't want to say is there a favorite role, because like with that many credits, that's insane to ask you this. But like, is there a favorite type of role? Is it a character role? Is it more straight laced? Is he?
Well, that is a tough question.
He likes the anime, though. I mean, what
is that something that when you get it, like, oh, great, one of these.
Well, yeah. Well, bad guys are always fun, but everybody always says the bad guy's the most fun to do. But no, I think the nice guy, the guy that makes you go, oh, because he's like the best friend who does something really nice for the lead or whatever it is. I think sometimes that guy is the most fun guy to play. I like that. I like. I mean, you know, I'll let Justin do it. You know what one of my favorite things to do is, because it's, you know, because you said you were going to mention it. He said everybody was telling me he was going to mention it.
Of course I'm going to mention it. I'm going to mention a certain little cricket that a lot of people know. And I don't mean crickets like no one's listening, like there's no one talking or applauding. This is a cricket that everyone applauds for.
Famous cricket.
I'm sure currently there's someone who's listening to
current famous cricket.
Current voice of Jiminy Cricket. One of my animated heroes.
And mine, even though, and one of the great honors of my life, to be honest.
That is huge. That's iconic.
I would never have expected that. That wasn't a voice that I knew I could do when I first got the audition. It wasn't anything that was on my radar. It's like Bob Bergen always talks about Porky Pig and about how he wanted to do Porky. That was his goal in life.
Right. You're like
sloth. That's the great honor of my life. I don't get to do them nearly enough, and
I'm so geeked for you for that. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's also a slightly different thing, because here you are, you're coming into a world of something that's an established part.
Yeah, that's true.
This is like me saying, "Oh, I'm going to be the young version of Brando in the next Godfather movie." Crap! I have to channel Marlon Brando. Like,
those are very similar roles. Very similar.
But there are four main people who've done it, and I think everybody does put their own something or other in there, even if it's just slightly. Eventually, if you've done something for long enough, it becomes yours. And I don't mine yet because I'm all Cliff Edwards out. I just love what he did and try to honor it every chance I get.
Wow.
But and well, that's kind of the fun part about it. So did you feel like for your performance to fit the part that you were finding those affectations that worked for you, or you were trying to mimic certain things?
I was trying to, as one of the directors once said, he said, "I see you're trying to honor Cliff." And that's what I tried. That's what I wanted to do.
I think it's the right thing to do because the legacy there, the history there,
Yeah, I think you have a responsibility to honor that.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
for sure. Because you think of like the legacy of children who grew up with these characters, and us, like we have a certain ideology about that character that has to stay true throughout, much like the drawings. Like it has to stay there.
Yeah,
somehow.
I agree with that.
Look how magical you are. Every time you say you never anticipated or you never expected or it wasn't within your realm of like dreams or on your radar, I have to laugh because you're so accredited. You are so accomplished.
I will blush.
It just comes easy.
If I blush, will I not blend into the wall quite as much?
You'll be a different shade of beige. I like that you came to my side of the fence though with the beige.
I did.
She gets the gray, so I'm glad you're on
I was looking to see if I had a gray shirt that was a button down, and I did.
Oh my God, I love you. I just want to reiterate, it's not necessarily about the color per se, but the feeling of grayish.
It is.
Well, I thought the muted blue would add to that feeling by just being.
I love it.
The muted waffle shirt.
I feel like we're on a date. Like we're all matching. This is all part of the thing. Yeah.
We got a throuple going here. It's lovely. It's a
throuple, very Hollywood, very leftist Hollywood of you. How dare you?
Okay, so speaking of Hollywood incest, I got to ask you about this. Not real.
Please do.
So I have this friend. He wrote this little movie about this, let's say, spirit that liked to get people to play a little game called Truth or Dare. My friend Chris Roach.
Look at that segue.
Look at how he did that, Lisa.
Almost like he produced it.
Well, this is a weird thing that we kind of have in common because I'm like all psyched for my friend Chris and blah, 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 blah. And then Lisa calls me up one day and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm doing this really crazy gag in this movie." And I'm like,
I didn't say it was crazy.
It wasn't there. I'm like, "Oh, that's my friend's
gag."
It wasn't crazy to me. It was crazy to you.
They set you on fire.
That's not crazy to me. I'm sorry. That's my job.
That's her Tuesday.
It's not my Tuesday, but like I've been here.
Tell me the truth. You got once in a while and just set yourself on fire just to do it.
Oh, all the time. Yeah, while I'm driving. Yeah, just fire me and fire. We're just why not?
Come back to LA. This is the time for. Oh, I should.
Is that a dry match? Oh yeah, maybe too soon on that one.
Yeah,
maybe just.
Well, and Joe, you are not. You don't get off scot-free either because you are the voice that makes her do it. You are the voice of Calyx in the movie.
I am. It's true, and that was a fun one.
Oh my God, yeah.
I
like that movie.
Jump off of bridges and all sorts of set themselves on fire.
People do all kinds of crap to themselves.
Well, let's be fair. I am a victim.
You are a victim.
I did not do this to myself.
I am an evil instigator.
So
just like in life.
For me, this is a movie I've seen several times. So
thank you for our nickels.
Yeah, I mean, friends are.
You get nickels.
Yeah. You don't get nickels?
Pennies.
But so how do you encompass this all-knowing evil entity? Where's the voice come for that? What's that voice like in your head?
Well, that, as I recall, I mean, bad guys in general, all-encompassing evil entities in general, are having fun.
Yeah.
They like what they do. And if you just come at something liking what you do, and knowing it's going to cause some sort of result in the person that you're dealing with.
That's what you know what makes it scary, Joe? You know what makes it very creepy is the comforting level. The level where you feel comfortable, and it's the most awful things, I mean, that you're telling people to do, but also you're making them comfortable and at ease at the same time. And that's that's why I would have given you the part 2.
Hang on. Joe Ochman, you had to do ADR, yes?
I did.
You had to watch the footage of us being burnt alive and jumping off of things,
remember, Calix's his genuine voice is only in there a couple of times.
Right.
Yeah.
He's in there with the kid and the cop and his cop father. He's in there when the lead guy is walking down the street and he first grabs him. Other than that, Felix comes out of everybody else's mouth in their voice.
All right. I would hate to think that you were like
I did not get to enjoy watching you burn, which makes me sad.
Thank you.
I watched the movie. I enjoyed watching you burn, but
thanks.
Well, it's like the first scene. It's like the shocker.
But I was not involved in that. I was just involved in a couple of sections, and that made me sad. I thought I should be involved in that. Because
to be fair, it was like 110 that day, and we were like out in the middle of the desert, and like I think you had it better. I think you had it better.
I did. But we I auditioned for it, but we came up with the way the voice was going to work in the session, as you usually do.
Yeah.
In most situations, I mean, and it's one of the reasons why I don't lock myself into something too much, because if I do, there's. Matter of fact, I did a commercial last year for it was a steak. I was playing a steak. I was actually playing a steak.
Okay, like a piece of meat.
Like a piece of meat.
We have both been piece of meat. I like this.
There you go. It was an Albertsons commercial, and the whole campaign was about food talking to people to try to get them to buy them.
I like the concept. Let's go.
And I was supposed to be a high-end steak.
Yeah, you are.
So of course I did it very much as a high-end steak. When I was very high-end, and I booked it, and we did the session. And I was doing what I did, and they said, well, "It's just not working for us. It's not working for us." And I said, "Do you have the copy? Do you have the commercial filmed already?" And they said, "Yeah." And they showed it to me, and I went, "That's not who he is. He's the guy." And I just changed it. Actually, it was a lot like Calix. It said, "Yeah, have some food, eat me."
Huh.
Whatever the heck the line was. But it became this very.
Was "eat me" your line?
I did not say "eat me."
Oh, okay. You were almost my hero.
But that was clearly my intention.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will have you know, Joe Ochman, that you are a high-end piece of meat.
Thank you. All my life I've hoped to be objectified in that manner.
You're so welcome.
You have now helped me accomplish that.
40 years, far too long, and I was the one to do it. Damn straight.
Yep.
This is my legacy.
Thank God a sex symbol made me a sex symbol.
I love this. This is like Hollywood turn of play. This is everything that's happening is amazing.
Their lives are changing here on this show right now. I'm sorry. How many episodes in are you guys?
You're on 9.
We're in our second season. This is officially the start of the second season.
Season 2, episode 1. Lives are changed. There you go.
Amazing.
Justin could do that better than I could because he's got that voice.
In a world where season 2 happens.
So you could have done our promo, but you had me do it.
One man in beige.
Copy that.
Come together like the Wonder Twins and activate newfound powers.
All right, I'm going to say right now, my birthday's coming up, and I want an audio card from both of you. You work that out.
I don't even have a cameo thing. Like,
irrelevant. I heard you got a microphone right in front of your face, bro. Figure it out. Get Joe's number.
Send her a file.
A file.
It's fine. I'll send her a file. She sent me a very lovely shirt, so I guess I can send a file.
So speaking of being pieces of meats for the sake of Hollywood entertainment and expansion of consciousness, which is what we're all trying to do really deeply down inside. I did I did a PCAP gig once that required some Broadway dancing, which went from choreography to pull one way, pull this way. And I was like, what the heck for? years went by and I bumped into the gentleman who rendered my footage, and he said, "Oh," I said, "But whatever became of that?" I was like, "Oh, that, yeah, right. I turned you into a dancing piece of bacon for a festival." I was like, "Shut up."
So you are not just a piece of meat; you are bacon.
Now, I am bacon.
Anybody who appreciates food in the most harmful way possible, their favorite food is somewhere in the top 3 is bacon.
I am your cholesterol right here.
You are my bacon, Lisa.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you.
You've been bacon.
You've been baconated.
Wait, that could mean anything.
I mean, that's like cheating at the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You were just actually bacon.
Listen, I'm like 1 degree from separation from Kevin Bacon, so I'm.
You haven't been in a movie with Kevin Bacon?
Adjacent to being in a movie with Kevin Bacon. So yeah, whatever.
So you're not even removed. You are there with Kevin Bacon.
At different times. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good. My career, my legacy lives on.
Was that before you were baconed or after? No.
That was well after I was bacon. Bacon set the grease for the rest of the slide. You know what I'm saying? Like bacon was the.
What is happening here? What is possible?
She's just being her clever self. That's what she do.
Listen, ratings, Joe. Ratings. We need
it's all about the ratings.
So you talk about bacon? It's the Bacon Show. Why don't you just rename it the Bacon Show?
Oh.
Wait a minute. Why didn't I do that?
Season 2, episode 1. Meat.
Greige as the Machine is great, but the Bacon Show.
That the Bacon Show. We should do a tributary. Like at some point, we'll have the Bacon Show for the Greige, and then we'll be like, we'll call Joe back.
And then it'll be the Ice Cream Show. The Bacon Show is
ice cream. Segued into ice cream.
And
I was given a rider from our particular famous guest tonight that he must discuss ice cream, and I would love to oblige, and I would love to know, gentlemen, because this is really important, and this will define our friendship for the rest of time. What are your favorite flavors of ice cream?
I go back and forth between being a traditionalist and an adventurer.
Let's go.
I think that the mark of any great ice cream place or any ice cream brand is their vanilla. If they up their vanilla or their sweet cream, which is basically just milk and it's just 4
ingredients.
If they mess that up, everything else is going to be crap, or it's just not going to match. And number 2 is their chocolate. So the basic flavors are the things that I think mark what a good ice cream place is. After that, you can have fun and go crazy and do all kinds of crazy things. And I like garlic ice cream. I like garlic ice cream. I've had caramel and bacon ice cream. I've had
bacon.
There is bacon ice cream.
That makes sense. Yeah.
She's part Italian and looking at you like you're crazy with garlic ice cream.
Garlic ice cream is disrespectful. I don't
the garlic or to the ice cream?
Not if you've had it, it isn't.
No, I'm good. And
then there's places like Salt and Straw who every month, she's a Salt and Straw person.
So good.
I'm in and out on them. I don't think all of their flavors are great. I think they put a lot of crap in some of them. But on Thanksgiving week, I got their turkey stuffing ice cream, and it was delicious.
Hang on. Sorry, what is that?
Did it have like a strong sagey thing?
It tasted just like turkey stuffing, as you remember it in its most traditional way, and it was delicious.
That's interesting.
The look on Justin's face is
I'm messing with you so badly, and it's beautiful.
Stuffing is probably my #1 dish. That one of the things I cook, and my very first job was at a gourmet ice cream shop when I was like 12 years old here in Cleveland at Hillary's Gourmet Ice Cream.
What was the name of it?
It was called Hillary's Gourmet Ice Cream. It was in Tower City here in downtown Cleveland.
That's a Cleveland thing.
It's a total Cleveland thing, and man, it was so good that I went on to be a drummer after that because my forearms were jacked. This ice cream.
What is the connection between ice cream and drumming?
I was doing this. I had Popeye forearms. It was ridiculous. I had no muscles anywhere in my body other than forearms. Not a single. I was a stick. I was a twig, but I had forearms because I was scooping ice cream. And this was back when, oh my God.
Are you ambidextrous? Were you like?
Yeah, I actually
like scoop with 2 hands.
You had to, because your arm would get tired. It was because it was like one of the first places before there was Cold Stone and some of these other places. It was one of the first places that had like chunks of stuff in the ice cream, and it was real gourmet ice cream.
Yeah.
And not very many people were doing it back then. And they also had conical scoops. So they weren't round scoops.
Those are like prison scoops, like on
Tuesdays, and it was weird. It made a cool stack. It was their kind of thing, but it also made it impossible. And I was like 12 or 13. Like, grown men had trouble scooping this ice cream. It was not easy.
If it's prison scoops, it would have to be more like cymbal play.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it used to have just a few ingredients. It used to be ice cream and not frozen dessert. And yeah, that shit is hard to scoop.
And that's where I am. I'm very fussy about my ice cream because I don't want ice cream with a lot of crap in it. I look at my ingredients.
Purist.
Very careful. Yep. I have a theory about one brand of ice cream.
Wait, is it a big name? Is it two people's names?
It is not two people's names.
Okay.
But I will tell you about the two people. Are we allowed to mention product names on here?
Sure.
I mean, we're looking for sponsorships. Yeah.
The unsolicited testimonials. I will give ice cream places plenty of testimonials. I used to eat Ben & Jerry's because I went to school in Vermont. I ate Ben & Jerry's when they were working out of an old gas station.
The best.
The best. When Ben & Jerry's first started, that's when I was eating Ben & Jerry's.
There's like Chunky Monkey.
Into a store. They didn't have Chunky Monkey at that time. They had Grape Nuts, which was a sweet cream sort of custard with grape nuts in it, which they no longer have, but certain other places have. There was a place called Scoops in LA that had it for a while. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I think they still have one open place, and I think they still do. That's how good I am at this. But then when Ben & Jerry's just started showing up in stores, then all the ingredients started to get wonky.
Yeah.
Putting stuff in.
Cheaper, better, faster. Can't have them.
Yeah, and I lost interest. Now I'm
very. That makes sense. That always happens. Like I had a Treo's taco here at Blossom Music Center in Cleveland.
Be kind.
No,
Danny.
I've done Danny a favor. I put his one of his good restaurants on another show, but also, and I told him exactly what I thought of this particular location, so it's okay. Me and Danny are good. Literally. Okay. But it was like it wasn't up to the level. It wasn't. And once you branch out, you don't have full control anymore. You've got corporate partners. You got some people who are just looking at the bottom line and this, that, and the other thing. And again, I'm not afraid to say it because Danny knows this now, and he also has made some corrections. But
you go, Danny.
But it's like you know, Ben & Jerry started a quality product, but once you start getting it bigger.
Haagen-Dazs did the same thing. If you look at Haagen-Dazs's original flavors, they're spectacular.
Oh, absolutely.
Their vanilla is spectacular. Simple.
You can still get the little pints with like 4 ingredients. You can still get pure. Yeah. It's the only ice cream I know left. So my dad's an architect, and I was lucky that my dad had a couple of corporate clients that did like small corporations, like the bagel place in Cleveland or Mitchell's. If you remember Mitchell's chocolate, there was a time people in Cleveland know Mitchell's chocolate. It was the shit forever. They dabbled in ice cream one year, and my dad, being their architect at the time, was given like the 5-gallon drums, and he would bring one home and turn it on its side and shove it in the freezer, and it would freeze into place. So my dad and I would stand there with the freezer door open and spoons, eating like really good peanut butter chocolate ice cream out of the freezer together.
As you said, putting it in that way, that was all I was thinking. Is I would not let that stop me from getting right in there.
I mean, back in Connecticut, there was Dr. Mike's. There was a bunch of different places that were just really good homegrown ice cream places that were fabulous. I get my ice cream organic now as much as is possible.
Bougie, Joe, I love.
Bougie, which is the Polish word for kiss, but
it is.
It is.
Yes.
Daj mi buzi. The only things I know how to say in Polish are daj mi buzi, which means give me a kiss, and posad mnie w dupa, which means kiss my ass.
Kiss my ass, yeah. I know that one.
Why did you learn those?
I love you that you know that. I love Lisa that she knows this.
I know shit. I'm very smart for a liberal leftist avocado toast eating skinny jean wearing girl. I am.
Okay, so now do you know that McDonald's ice cream now has an organic line?
I do, but I have yet to try it because I try not to eat ice cream anymore. It sucks.
Wait a minute. We're going to talk about ice cream and you don't eat it anymore?
I'm living vicariously through my imagination. Let me have this.
Right.
Bring it to me.
McDonald's organic, although they used to have a great eggnog ice cream that was my favorite ice cream in the world. They ruined it by putting a snickerdoodle swirl in it.
Ugh.
Candy ruins it all the time.
Yeah. But Strauss's organic ice cream is They're chocolate, they're vanilla, they're strawberry spectacular. Their other flavors they're all wonderful, and I maintain that you can lose weight. I have proven that you can lose weight eating Strauss's ice cream, because I have done this where I've been trying to lose some weight, and I'll eat a real good meal all day, and then I'll like do a big heaping bowl of this ice cream, and then the next morning I wake up and I'm down a couple of pounds. I'm down a pound. And
I'm Could it be that it's because there's no crap in it to bloat you out?
Yes. I think that the purity of ingredients.
Do we need to do like a supersize me with Joe and ice cream?
Yes.
Just 30 days of ice cream.
30 days. Oh, well, there is an ice cream diet, you know.
No thanks. I'm good.
There's a thing. I'm not going to do it, but
that's amazing.
Anything for the hits, right? Yeah. I'm gonna pass on that. Can I tell
you guys what's going through my head right now?
Oh my God, please do.
Please get me off this ice cream thing so I won't stop.
What happens if Calyx is writing on "It's a Small World"? Am I broken? This is either the most terrifying thing I've ever thought of, or
please bastardize this ride for Justin so he can feel good about himself.
Well, if Calyx was talking through all the characters in It's a Small World.
Naturally.
A small world after all. If that kind of thing was happening.
Do continue. I'm
not singing the whole song because then I will have problems. You know, I can't.
And that's what it is. It's designed to stay with you forever.
Okay.
That's why I refuse to sing the rest of the song, no matter how Lee tries to get me to do it.
Oh no, this is why we're friends. We're cool. We're good. I don't even go on that ride because I can't get that out of my head. I'm a musician.
As it is right now, I'm having trouble getting it out of my head because just started it.
I just do these things. I don't know why I do them to myself or other people. I can't help it. I just think the wrongest thing, and then I just put it into the universe, and somehow we're all stuck with it.
Are the other 8 guests who've been on this show running around with some loop in their head that they can't get rid of?
Maybe. Justin has this knack. He finds these songs even just before you tuned in and we were singing all kinds of random shit. He has a knack for finding songs that are really, really memorable that you can't shake. And they won't.
But I know. But see, the thing is, I know the secret of how to
get. Gonna hold her tight. Gonna have some afternoon delight. Oh God.
Oh, afternoon delight. Here's the thing. There's a secret to getting rid of any song that gets stuck in your head. I had to know this as an audio engineer for that part of my life before I went into television. It is the Cardigans' "Love Fool," because you can get rid of that song immediately. However, it will help you erase any other song in your head. So you just have to love me, say that you love me. And then it takes away.
It's gone.
No, now I hear that one.
Yeah, but that one will leave you in like a couple of minutes.
I prefer classic music.
One of those bad earworms. It's the cure all.
Not for me.
You're such a snob, Lisa.
I'm gonna tell you straight up. I am a cultural snob. I am picky about my arts and culture. I am picky about my friendships. I like quality stuff. Even if you're an asshole, you be a good organic asshole. We could be friends.
Which brings me to a big question for you. What is with that? Because everybody has an exception.
An exception to
what is your musical exception to that? To your snooty rule.
What's my guilty
What's the song
pleasure?
like the guilty pleasure song that just makes that you're embarrassed whenever it comes out of your mouth?
Nothing. I'm not embarrassed of anything that I like
don't
music.
You, Justin? Come on, let's have.
Everyone has to have one. I mean, I'm a Swiftie.
I was gonna say, okay, which one?
I'm a huge Swiftie. I love. I don't like a lot of Taylor Swift's country stuff. I like 1989 and on.
Okay, yeah, fair. Yeah.
But yeah,
I could dig a good Champagne Problems myself. That is a very good song.
I was humming Blank Space earlier, but I would probably say that Lover is a song that I find getting stuck in my head all the time, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'll do it at karaoke. I'm not afraid.
Well,
Joe, you down?
I'm down for that. I want to hear. I want to hear that.
Do you karaoke?
I guess we got to go to Cleveland.
Yes.
Or whatever, or Georgia. Like, hello, I hate it here. Bring it here.
Or any place with a mic and a whole bottle of Kettle One.
I can buy the liquor.
The answer is I'm not a karaoke person. I like to go and listen to karaoke and appreciate people more than I like to do it, because I figure if I'm going to go on stage, I'm going to sing. Somebody should pay me for it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like you're the guy. Like if you got a microphone in front of you, you're like, hey guys, cheddar up.
Yeah,
I'm getting on the mic.
Also, I have on 2 occasions done television shows where I was paid to do karaoke.
Ah, professional.
And what were those?
Ally McBeal. I did an episode of Ally McBeal.
Nice.
With a stupid side story. My cousin was in China adopting a baby, and they had a day off from all the paperwork, and they went back to their hotel and turned it on. And my episode of Ally McBeal was on with me singing karaoke. And I can't remember the name of the other show because it didn't last long. But I got to sing. What did I sing? I got to sing Aretha.
Ooh.
I got to do Aretha.
Unusual choice. Yeah. I mean, you singing Aretha.
No offense, but if I'm casting a scene of somebody singing Aretha Franklin, I don't know that you're my first call.
I disagree.
It's karaoke, Justin.
I get it.
I also did another sitcom where I got to sing, and I will always love you.
Oh, geez.
Got to do that.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Calm down.
The rare times I get to sing, I get to do the stupidest things.
Well,
Same.
That's entertaining, though.
Same
All right,
anymore.
So I still do want to ask you about the anime thing, because I was.
We can go back to work.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
While I've got you here, I'm very curious about it, because I loved anime in my teen years, especially. But a little bit before probably the current generation of kids knows. Like, you've done some of the stuff that people would know now, like Naruto and some of that stuff.
Yeah, I've done one.
But like I was into like Akira and Ninja Scroll and that kind of first American generation of anime, and Star Blazers and some of that stuff that came really early on. And I was really disappointed when they revoiced Akira, because they changed the pronunciations of a lot of things that I grew up with. But that's beside the point. When you're doing anime, what do you do with, like, do you listen to the original voice in the Japanese or Korean or whatever it came from first, or do you try to just do your own take on the whole deal?
It actually kind of depends on the anime, and what I was saying before about sort of diving in and looking at something and then coming up with something on the fly. Anime is where I really cut my teeth doing that, because and in the early days, because you like that thing that we will not mention that people do that is on strike right now. You don't have the script in advance. You have nothing in advance in most cases. Sometimes you get something. I did a gig recently and they sent me in advance. I didn't look at it because I didn't care, because I knew I was going to be able to come up with something. But it used to be that they didn't preview. You just dove in and you started doing it. Mm-hmm. Then there came a point where they started previewing what the stuff sounds. I mean, you come in, they show you the character, they show you what he sounds like, they give you a sense of them. You find a voice, you agree on it, and sometimes it's very close to the original voice, and sometimes it's way off the beam. It really depends. But now they give you previews. For years they've given us previews, and then we do it, and we try to match. Of course, you're trying to match all the technical stuff at the same time, coming up with a performance. But the answer is basically what I said before. It varies, and you just sort of dive in.
I mean, but it's an interesting process too, because you're basically kind of doing looping, but you are not looping yourself. You're doing it to lip flap from someone else in a different language. How do you get these things to match up?
Yeah. Well, that's the amazing thing about anime, and actually, it's part of the fun about it. Is you're doing 4 things at once.
Yeah.
You're trying to match a time code. You're trying to match lip flaps. You're trying to give a performance. You're trying to look at a script at the same time as you're looking at the character. So you're balancing all these things. It's like.
But don't you find, as a theater performer, like, I like that challenge?
I love it. I love doing that. It's fun to me.
And you're damn good at it.
Well, I appreciate that.
That worked out well.
It's funny because that's another thing where I blundered into it. I had a friend of mine, when I was out here, I was directing a play, and it was a musical, actually. It was a Christmas musical, and it was at the El Portal Theater, and
I love that place.
Yeah, well, I belonged to a theater company that was basically responsible for building that after the earthquake, and they built that theater, and they built this little sort of theater in the round thing. And while the guy was building it, he also built this little side theater that he wasn't supposed to build, but he kind of did it anyway. And I was directing this theater in the theater in the round thing. And 2 weeks before we were supposed to go on stage, I'll get back to the anime, I promise you. Before we were supposed to get on the stage, we were told the electrics wouldn't be ready, so I had to completely reblock the entire play in that little theater that wasn't even supposed to be there. And so I'm doing that play, and I get interviewed on public access TV. And who the hell watches public access TV, or who watched the public access TV? My old friend from Connecticut that I met in 1979, who just happened to have moved to town and was involved in anime. And so he contacted me. We became friends. We reestablished our friendship, and then he brought me into the anime world. That's how I blended in. And I remember my first session was a Walla session. Group voices, and I'd never been in before. I was nervous. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I went in there, and all the other guys were going, "Hey, how funny am I so far? How do you like me? Am I funny? Aren't I great?" And I went, "Oh God, that's how it's going to be." Oh. And I sort of adapted and went along with it, and discovered this great love for anime doing that, and I got to do tons of it. But I was always kind of the bastard child of anime. I was the guy that they go through all their cast, they do everything, and they go, "Yeah, we still got a couple more parts. Who haven't we? Yeah, do we have anybody else?" So oh yeah, Joe.
Joe can do it. Joe does everything.
They eventually would bring me in and do it, and then I started to get bigger things and better things,
Is it one of those things where you show up to work and you find yourself doing more than one part, or do you typically just
quite often?
Yeah.
Quite often, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Justin, like when you're good at something,
Well, and part of why I asked, because when I was a recording engineer, I would have these guys come in, and they would come in for one or two things, and then by the end of the day, they're like, "Oh yeah, we've got the little bit with the guy that walks through. Can you do that one? We'll throw you another check or whatever, and can you do this one and this one?"
And now that they're not doing group Walla anymore, like that first group, now they just add you to the Walla. So at the end of a session, they'll save some time. They go, "Okay, we're going to do 16 crowd scenes," that kind of stuff.
I tell you, man, coming out like also from theater and coming out as a voice performer, bro, looping, I could do that crap in my sleep. It's so much fun. Like the syncing of it and the multitasking, like theater performers just do that. Yeah. I tried, but your snotty group is a closed group. You've got to wait till somebody, it's like the head of an orchestra. You got to wait till somebody dies to get that job.
Oh, in a loop group? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like,
no. Well, I mean, I got very lucky to do Truth or Dare. That was a loop group audition, and
wow,
yeah, that was a very lucky thing.
This was not welcome. It was not welcome. I used to love going to my ADR sessions at some of these places when the loop group people were there, and they pull up in their BMWs and their Mercedes, like, "Wow, I'm in the wrong part of the business.
I'm doing everything wrong." Wow.
I've been saying that for years. Either I'm in the wrong part of this business, or this is the job where they're going to discover I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. It's always one of those two.
Right.
By the way, I meant to do this earlier, and I have to do it now. I have to shout out to the engineers, dude.
Oh, 100%. Let's go.
And during the pandemic, it was even more amazing what engineers would be able to do. And then sometimes when an engineer is really trying to make something perfect, I would go, "No, you don't use Pro Tools, just use Joe Tools. I'll do it. Come on." But by and large, engineers, absolutely.
On behalf of all of them, I accept. I mean, I was an audio engineer for it was one of my three careers. I was audio engineer, then a comedy writer, and then a TV producer and director.
Speaking of unsung heroes,
and I started audio engineering back in the tape days and radio too. And I was like putting stuff on cart tapes, and I knew how to do actual beat loops with tape from razor blade splices and all that stuff. And
oh my god, yeah.
Calibrating Studer 24-track machines and all the real stuff, as well as
I did the splicing stuff.
When I showed up in LA that day, they were like, "Here, kid, here's a Pro Tools rig. Learn this and teach us how to do it." And I'm like, I went to school to calibrate tape machines. I don't want to mess with that thing, but I learned it.
Wow, you guys are so
But the engineers God bless them, man, because it is another unsung part of the business, and there is no voice recording without a recordist, somebody to hit record and splice it all together and make it sound good and make it fit to pick.
Well, since we're creeping up toward the end of our hour that we're allowed on Instagram.
Oh, damn.
I know. I want to talk to you forever.
Please.
Let me ask you.
Two.
We can keep talking afterwards. It's an after party. Mr. Ochman, is there a role that you haven't done yet that's still on your wish list? Or a project?
Well, you know, I'm going to theater first. I know you'll appreciate this. I want to do Pseudolus, and funny thing happened on the way to the always. Yes. That's always been a dream of mine.
Yes.
I would love to do that.
Okay, now one of my friends is watching this right now who I've insisted that he has to produce a play. You know who I'm talking to. Joe's available, and that's a great choice. So I'm going to put that down.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
And other than that, I mean, I would love to be a regular in an animated series. It would just be I would just love to do it.
All right,
one of those ridiculous, those beautiful, ridiculous ones like Rick and Morty that are just, or Simpsons that are just so out there and they're willing to go anywhere and that kind of stuff.
Well, do you write and create stuff like this?
I have not ever written animation. I write, but I've not written and animated anything. But, are you thinking that maybe I should consider doing so, Lisa?
I'm just throwing things out there for you to think about in case, like, you know, I'm trying to build a tribe here to make stuff and do stuff and have some art.
You know, as somebody who hinted that maybe she should do a podcast sometime, I guess.
You are vaguely responsible for this podcast. And he's not kidding either. Like we had this long conversation because Lisa was having a moment. Bless your heart, Joe. I love you. And he said, I was like, I want to do this thing. He's like, then you have to, and I'm going to hold you accountable. And then I don't know, like not even a week went by, and Justin, who I've been nagging for years, was like, "We should do a podcast." I'm like,
I mean, I was thinking about it, and I had like a thing written up and ready to go too. I was like, "Oh, now that you mention it, this." Funny
you were thinking about it because I nagged you.
What's your idea? She tells me her idea, and like 3 seconds later, I'm like sending her notes from my iPhone. Like, well, here's my idea. It's pretty much exactly the same thing.
He had like a freaking call sheet with like all the stuff on. I was like, okay, I guess I'll create an IMDb page.
And then it was like 2 days later, like, okay, let's do it. She was like, well, what do we need? And I was like, okay, well, get this, and this, microphone wise, and I'll get a StreamYard set up. And then
week and a half later, boom, we had guests.
We put a little something out into the world, and it just appeared.
And sometimes that's how you have to do it. Well, listen, Joe, thank you so much for stopping by Greige Against the Machine. Lisa, as always, you're
my pleasure. Thank you, Justin. Lisa, I love you madly.
I love you madly.
All of our friends in LA, please stay safe. If you need to go. If you need to stay, stay. But please, whatever you do, take care of yourself, take care of your pets, take care of your loved ones. Make sure that you are safe because we need you all in this world. We need all of our entertainers to be safe.
1000%.
Yeah, my heart goes out to my neighbors and everybody that's going through stuff. It's a crazy, crazy time.
It protect that instrument, Joe.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah.
So to everyone out there, be safe. We love you all. Thanks for stopping by. And until next time, stay calm, stay in the mix. Love you.
Love you guys.